Hello children, this is your physics teacher Sharma and I welcome you all back to my class. In the previous class, when we started discussing the chapter sound, we have learned that sound is a form of energy which causes the sensation of hearing. We have learned what vibrations are, and we also discussed the distinct difference between oscillation and vibration. We have learned that if any body, the entire body is undergoing to and fro motion, then we say it is oscillation. On the other hand, if only a part of the body is undergoing to and fro motion, we say it is vibration. And for example of vibration, we have seen vibrations in a tuning fork. After that, we have learned that every vibrating body will produce sound. As a part of that, I told you that if you keep your hand at your throat, you will actually feel the vibration. Now, there are few people who are privileged to observe this carefully. Now, every time you keep your hand on the throat, you can feel a bump. I hope you can see that clearly. Here is the bump. Usually it is called the Adam's apple, but this is where our voice box is located. Our voice box is otherwise called as larynx. Okay, now that is located. Our voice box will be having two vocal cords. Don't get confused. Vocal actually refers to voice. The meaning of the word cord is nothing but a string. Okay, so vocal cords are nothing but two strings which are connected to our voice box. Okay, don't take the literal meaning that there are two strings or rubber bands attached in the throat. Here the string refers to a muscle. We have very fine muscle, a pair of fine muscle which are present in our voice box. Now, you might have noticed when we talk, I talk until my breath is finished, and now see, when my breath is all over, I am not able to talk. What is the reason? You can try this also. You try to speak something without inhaling. You will see that it will be very difficult and finally your voice does not come out. Okay, what actually is happening when you inhale? Your voice is going, the air is going into the lungs, and when you are speaking, what are you doing? You are forcing the lungs air. The lungs are forcing the air into the vocal box, into the voice box. Okay, and there the vibrations occur between the two vocal cords. They start vibrating. Now you understand when you keep your hand on the throat, it vibrates, and why it happens. The air what we are exhaling, the air that is forced by the lungs into the voice box is actually making the vocal cords to vibrate. And depending on whether the vocal cords are stretched or not stretched, our voice depends. Usually for girls and small children, the vocal cords are stretched more. That's the reason why they have a very shrill sound which can be heard to a long distance. Okay, on the other hand, for boys and men, the vocal cords are not much stretched, so they have a little bass voice. Now let us practically see how the vibration in vocal cords work. This is something which you can do in your house also. I will take two simple pieces of paper. Okay, now I will behave like I will be blowing air, and that makes me behave like the lung which is forcing air. And these two pieces of paper behave like vocal cords. So I place these vocal cords one over the other, leaving a very narrow gap, just as how the vocal cords are separated by a narrow gap. In the same way, here also there is a very narrow gap. And now I blow air into it. it is producing sound, even though it is disgusting. Yes, we can hear the sound, right? Fortunately, our voices are not like this. We are blessed for that. So this is actually explaining when air is blown into a narrow gap which is there between two vocal cords, it is producing sound. The vocal cords are vibrating and that is producing sound. And depending on the sound produced with the help of our tongue, teeth, cheek muscles, nose, everything, okay, we are able to produce different sounds, speak different words and different languages, whatnot, everything. Okay, so today our topic of discussion was how human beings are able to produce sound. Okay, in which we have learned that we have a pair of vocal cords in the voice box, and when air is forced onto these vocal cords into this voice box, these strings start vibrating. And we have already seen in the previous class that whenever something vibrates, it produces sound. I hope you understood this concept. Okay, with the next step of the lesson, we'll meet again in the next class. Until then, have a nice time.